my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
Oh, my dog, hey.
Oh, my dog, hello. Oh,
Ma-
sorry, I about cut you off there, didn't
No, I was going to just come in hot after you, and then I breathed too long. Hello to our favorite MUTT Mafia fosters. If you're
Fosters.
receiving this or you have access to this, it's because you are either interested in fostering for us or you are actively an Oh My Dog foster.
Yes.
So first and foremost, everything we're about to say, if...
Is followed by thank you.
Yes. We cannot believe that you are hanging in there with us and that you're enjoying this as much as we are. Well, we can believe it. 'Cause
I can believe it.
We're pretty great. But you're just as great, and we're so happy to have you here. Thank you for
you.
listening. We have shared this with you because we want to make sure that all of our fosters are on the same page with us as it relates to what to do when you get an adoption or an application.
An application,
Yes.
yes. Courtney, you all know Courtney Chance out of the Mafia group. She has graciously stood up for us and volunteered to handle all of the applications that come in. So she is the one that is forwarding you the applications either via Facebook Messenger or email.
And I'll just say our email address, if you have any questions about an application you have received or about what to do next, is ohmydogadoptions@gmail.com.
Yes.
And that particular email address goes directly to Courtney. Holly and I have access to it if we need to, but we really don't pay attention to it because Courtney does such a great job of getting you guys the information you need quickly.
Correct.
Yes.
So once you receive the application from Courtney, we would like for all applications to be responded to within 24 to 48 hours. And by responded to, I mean at a minimum a light touch, a text.
Hey, we got it.
Yeah, I usually send a text message that says, thank you so much for your application for Roy. I'm just going to use Roy because that's my current foster.
Yeah.
I've received it. We're reviewing it. I'll be in touch soon.
And so sometimes you'll get dogs that have a ton of interest.
If
So
you're lucky.
If you're lucky, and so you need a little more time.
Yes, and sometimes you're in the middle of life and you
need
doing
a
something
couple
and you
of
just need
days.
a day or two to get back to them.
Yes.
Totally understandable, but
We have to let them know we got it because otherwise what happens is people who get real excited about seeing an adorable dog that they're really excited about, they follow up with us by email, by Facebook Messenger, by calling, all of these things, which is fine. We're happy to answer all of those. However, we don't have the answers about the dog.
Right.
You do, which is why we do things the way that we do. We put this in your hands so that you can choose where your foster dog lands because you know best.
right. Or there are people out there that are looking for a dog and they put in multiple applications for multiple dogs across multiple rescues. And so,
And I'll say most rescues do not do this 24-hour thing. And so when they have that experience from us, it's huge because
Right.
it trickles down to people who support us. And so,
but you want to, if they're interested in Roy and they're a good fit for Roy,
we got to move quick.
let's get these two paired up.
Yeah.
You know, let's not give them the opportunity to move on to somebody else, right?
Correct.
I mean, at the end of the day, a dog rescued is a dog rescued, but let's get in contact within 24 hours. So text, call, email, respond to them within 24 hours, letting them know that you've at least received the application and you'll be in touch soon.
I will say during this period, if you're in the lucky chance where you have more than one application, now is the appropriate time to say, I've had a lot of interest. Even if you've only had 3 applications and they're all equally good and you just need some time to think about it and to vet everybody, it's okay to say, Roy is very popular and I want you to know I received your application. It looks great. However, I need to vet all of the applications because we choose what is the best fit for the person and for the dog.
Right. Which, to that end, our adoption and application process is not first come, first served.
No.
It's best come, first served.
Yes.
So, the first application you get is not the first person that is in line. If the first applicant you get is shit, they're done.
And we're going to talk about how to handle that.
Yes. If the second applicant is the best applicant, contact them first, set up the meet and greet with them
Yeah.
first. Also, to that end, never, ever, 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 never, ever
Don't do it.
set up
More than
multiple meet and greets.
one at a time.
One at a time, because this is what happens.
And it has happened.
And it has happened, and it turns into a PR nightmare. Is you'll set up multiple meet and greets, and the first meet and greet will go well and turn into adoption, and then the second meet and greet will have never been given the opportunity to meet the dog, and then they're pissed off because
it was on their calendar.
They were all excited about meeting the dog. They went out and bought all the things,
Yep.
and they, their kids got excited and blah 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 whatever, and they feel like this dog just got adopted out from underneath them.
No.
That's not a phone call that Kara and I enjoy taking.
No. And
So
we
do
handle
not
it.
ever do that ever.
However, if something happens, if you make a mistake or you change your mind or whatever, Holly and Kara are the first people that you need to, and Courtney are the first people that you need to let know that has happened, so that we can thwart any unwanted PR or press, right? And when we say that, it's like social media is so quick that if someone has a bad experience, whether it be going to order a taco from a taco truck or adopting a dog, they're going to let the world know, and it can
immediately
really hurt our efforts.
Right.
So we need to know if things went wrong, or if you had a bad interaction, or if somebody was upset. We need to know so that we can handle it. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and we are happy to handle those calls.
And we're good at it. It's
and
fine.
we're good at
We
it.
can
We've
do
done
it.
it a few times. We just don't want to do it more than we need to. So just don't do that.
So that's a huge rule. And I have broken that rule one time before.
And
I
you learned your lesson on that one, didn't we?
However, I was right in my choice.
You were right.
But I had to make
It was
a
an
hard
uncomfortable phone call.
It was an uncomfortable phone call that I had to make, and it was I don't want to have to do it again for myself. I won't do it again for myself. I had to make the call, but and sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you set up a meet and greet, and then 30 seconds later you get the greatest application of all time.
Yeah.
And you have to figure out how to manage that. And in those instances, when you're unable to follow the standard operating procedure, we're here to help.
That's when we come in.
Yep.
Okay, so now you've got an application or a couple applications. What do you do with them? How do you vet an application? So first and foremost, please use Courtney as a resource. She is very good at this. She is she works at a vet's office, so she has ins with other vets' office, and she can talk to other vets, and she can understand the lingo and all that stuff. So if you need any help with that, please ask Courtney to help in any of those scenarios. Some of the things that I do, and please understand that the more that you do this, the more you're going to get a feel for reading
you
people
have to do all of
and
these
when
things,
you need to do this and how to do this, and just getting a general feel. So Kara and I are kind of, well versed and a little bit jaded in this, but Facebook stalking, number one.
First and foremost, are they on social media?
Are they on social
things
media?
are they posting? Have they given away a dog? Are they posting on the get free sites?
Pet sites.
Are they trying to get a bunch of dogs? What's going on?
You're right. Iowa Courts Online. It's a iowacourtsonline.gov, I believe. iowacourtsonline.com. Anyway, you can go on there, put in their last name, first name, and it'll come up with anything that they've ever been convicted of, or not even convicted of, even I mean, even any
charges.
If they filed for bankruptcy, if they had a speeding ticket, if they've had a felony, if they have a abuse charge, anything is going to be on there. So that's a great resource. It's free, it's quick, it's easy to find out any information about them. I also look up the address on Google Maps to kind of get a lay of the land. Where do they live? Do they live out in the middle of nowhere? Do they live in town? What is their neighborhood like? Do they have the fenced-in yard that they say they have? Now, keep in mind that Google Maps isn't always up to date, but it's a good resource to just quick check, see where they're at.
Usually,
What kind of neighborhood do they live in?
And by the way, you mentioned fenced-in yard. Do we always require a fenced-in yard?
No, we do not.
And that makes us very different from a lot of rescue groups because many of them are very specific with their rules about fenced-in yards. And we understand how scary it is when a dog goes missing. It has happened. It will continue to happen. However, we don't believe that denying the appropriate applicant access to adopting a dog because they don't have a fence is the right way to go. And so we don't do that.
Right.
Now, if you've got a runaway mutt who really likes to zip out the front door and really needs to be honed in and doesn't do well on a leash, maybe we will decide that that particular dog has a fenced-in yard.
Like Bugsy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you remember him, he's a wiener that went on a run for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So other things that come through on the application is occupation. So you can also look up their profiles on LinkedIn as well. Vet, if they list where they work, you can.
Is it
you
real?
can
Yeah.
look that up. Their address. Natasha is another volunteer of ours, foster of ours. She's very good at background checks. She has access to other sites that not the general public does. So if you have any questions about that, shoot her a message. She'd be more than happy to look that stuff up for you. Other people in the home is part of the application. Look them up. My husband, Nick. So you can, determine the last name, Nick's last name. You can look up Nick.
Yeah. See if he's...
Nick XYZ on Facebook. Look him up on LinkedIn, whatever.
Yeah. One thing, while you're doing all of this background stuff, before you're speaking with the applicant, I find a lot of times, and I hate to, pigeonhole us as women, but a lot of times wives will apply for a dog and they haven't yet spoken to their husband. So one of the first questions that I really like to ask them point blank when I'm either having a conversation, texting, or emailing, does everyone in your home know that you are applying for this dog, and are they all on board?
Right.
Because if you're just can't sleep at night and you're applying for Pomeranians because you like Pomeranians and you happen to see we have a cute one,
Right.
but your husband said, I really don't want any more Pomeranians, and then now you're wasting a whole bunch of time. It's a good way to just make sure that everybody is on board so you don't have to go through a whole lot of work for nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And with other dogs in the home or other pets in the home, you can use that when you call the vet. Part of the application is the name of their current vet. You can call their vet. Courtney can call their vet and verify that their other pets have been taken care of. Usually you'll get, a receptionist or a vet tech on the phone. Have you ever seen this person? Have you ever had an issue with this person? Has there ever been an issue with payment for care for their other pets?
And the vet's office may or may not give this information, but the one question that you can ask is, what pets are on their account, and are they all up to date on the required vaccinations and medical care?
Right.
So that they will always answer. They might not give you a ton of information, and you don't have to pry if you don't feel comfortable prying.
But always tell them who you are. Tell them, I'm
say,
a foster for Oh My Dog Rescue. I'm fostering a dog. I have an application from so-and-so. I'm just doing my vet references check.
My favorite question to ask is, would you adopt a dog out to this family?
Yes. And
And
sometimes they're not going to know because they're not, depending on where you're at. I mean, if you're in Des Moines and
They might not know that person.
They might not know a person.
But they can
personally.
read the history.
Yes.
I've called about a dog before and had somebody read back and say, oh, well, last year at this time, so-and-so, this dog was severely matted when we saw it. And and then a year later, the dog was still matted when we saw it. It's like, well, probably we're not going to give a doodle to that person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just listen to those indicators and they'll let you know.
Yeah. And being up to date on shots is not a requirement for us, but it's a clear indication of
The care the dog's going to get after they're adopted.
exactly.
Yep. So if you know how we feel about cats at Oh My Dog Rescue.
Right.
We love them. We're glad they're creatures on this earth. I have a cat tattoo on myself, for goodness sake. But if someone has 3 dogs and those dogs have received the utmost care and their cat is slightly behind on its distemper shots, but it never leaves the house and never encounters any other critter, you can make your own assumptions as to whether or not you'd like that to have. This is up to you and the care that you wish that this dog would have when you place it. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah, that's your call.
Continuing to go through the application, what type of food do you feed? So this is kind of just a barometer for us on
If anybody
the
puts Old Roy,
I mean, yeah.
no.
Here's the thing about being a foster.
You have your own.
Whether you want to or not, you kind of got to be a judgmental bitch about it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say
and
it.
everybody's going to have their own level of judgment.
And everyone has their own level of financial capabilities, and that's fine. I get it. But, yeah, like you said, if somebody's feeding, Old Roy or Gravy Train or, something like that, like, they're probably not a good candidate for, a high energy,
right.
Working dog. Like, that's not going to fly. So just make your own calls there. And
it
it's
can
also
be an educational moment.
Exactly.
For that
I was just going to say it's also an opportunity to have a conversation about nutrition. Like,
send them the link to the podcast that we did about dog food.
Yeah. Roy is a really good dog. He's high energy. He really needs a high protein diet.
Mm-hmm.
And Old Roy just isn't going to cut it.
Right.
Personal references. I have never, maybe one time in all of my rescue, have I called a personal reference that has not given them a glowing review. So this is more about
asking the right questions.
Asking the right questions. You can't just come right out and say, is Susie Q a good person? They're going to say yes. I mean, nobody's going to put down a personal reference that's going to talk shit about them.
No, but you could say, if they've got personal dogs, what kind of relationship does Susie Q have with her dogs?
Right.
What do they do?
Right.
How does she exercise them?
What do you imagine a day in the life of?
Do you think that Susie Q would do well with a high energy dog? Would her current dogs do well? Because this is a third party who may be very close with that person, so they may or may not tell you the full truth. But if there's a real red flag that we should be seeing,
you're gonna hear it.
It's those pointed questions, and we're gonna hear it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real honest. I don't always call the personal references because it's usually somebody that's close enough with the person that they're not gonna say anything wrong. And all of these things that we are asking you to check on, you do not have to do every single one of them unless it feels like you need to.
Right. No, these are all just tips and tricks on how to get a feel for making sure you're putting your foster dog in the best home for them, because this is your responsibility. This is why Oh My Dog is different than any other rescue. All of the other rescues in our area, there is somebody that does this, and you don't have a say in it. You don't have a say in where the dog goes.
They just say, show up, your dog's getting adopted today.
Exactly.
And that's not
not how we want to roll.
No. One thing, too, that I recently did as it relates to checking on things, I had this person who was incessantly applying for dog after dog after dog. They really wanted to adopt. Cool. Great. Good, great, grand. I just felt like there was something a little bit off. So I reached out directly. They were renting. So they had listed where they were renting. So I looked up where they were renting. I looked up the property management company. It was, a lower income rental property, which is fine, But I called. The lady who answered the phone knew exactly who I was talking about. Mm-hmm. And she said, yeah, she got a letter from her doctor, so I can't deny any sort of dog that she wants to have because she wants to have, an emotional support dog. So I can't deny that. It's been placed by her medical professional, but I would say this person really can't have a high energy or a strong dog because she's very frail. Well, that gave me a huge frame of reference for like what I was looking for and what type of dog that might be a good fit for her.
Yep.
And I do think that if she was placed with the right dog, that dog would have a good life regardless of her economic status or whatever. I think she would take really good care of that dog, but I have a really strong idea in my mind of what type of dog that is, and it was none that we had at that time, and so I just keep that in the back of my mind.
Right.
But that's just taking those extra steps to say, something's a little off here.
You have to play matchmaker.
Yeah.
And sometimes the dog that people want isn't what they need or what they're capable, and it's not the right home for that dog.
So,
and our first priority, always, our first priority is the dog.
Yes.
It's not the applicant. And
yes, we want to have good optics.
We want to have good optics. We want to have good PR. We want to have a good reputation. But an applicant's feelings come second to the dog and the dog's health and emotional and physical well-being.
So let's say, Holly, you call somebody and you're talking to them about, we're using Roy as our example today. If we talk to somebody about Roy and they're not the best fit, but we still like them as an applicant, just not for Roy.
Right.
What do we do next?
So typically when I call an applicant, just to kind of, I know where you're going with this, but just to backpedal a smidge, when I call an applicant, I just say, like, let's just role play here. So I'll say, hey, Kara, I received your application for Roy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tell me, like, what kind of things are you looking to do with a dog? And then that person will tell me, well, I really want to go to the dog park, or I really just want to come home and lay on the couch with my dog, or I want to take my dog to my family functions, or I need to take my dog to work, or whatever.
My sister brings her kids and dogs over once a week, and I want to be able to enjoy in that family environment, or I want to take my dog hiking.
Exactly. That's going to give you an idea of a lot of things. Like, what is a day in the life? That's another question I ask.
Yeah.
So what's a day in the life of a pet for you? Like, if they have existing pets, like, what do you do with, whoever? And I leave the questions very open-ended. I don't leave them. Just ask the question and shut your mouth.
Yeah.
And let them talk.
Yeah.
And let them tell you what they are looking for. The other question that I like to ask all the time is, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being couch potato, 10 being super adventure dog climbing Mount Everest, what kind of activity level are you looking for? And please be honest with me, because I want to make sure you get the right fit.
Yeah.
And some people are looking for a 9. Some people want to go run I have no idea who wants to run marathons.
I don't know either.
Period. But whatever.
No.
And some people just want to sit on the couch with their dog and watch Lifetime all day long.
Yeah.
And there's the right dog for them too.
We have all, know. And in that very moment, we might not have a fit for that person, but that person is going to really appreciate your honesty and feedback in what they share with you. So I had someone, reach out about a dog who specifically, didn't do well with cats. And for them, that was a big deal. The cat was their first big part of their life, and they didn't have an opportunity. They didn't want to separate the cat and the dog. They wanted the dog to just walk through the door and coexist and be fine.
Which is
fine.
They are entitled to that.
Yes. Even if dogs are more important. Whatever. No, but that's a good opportunity to say, you know what? Kaboom does fine with cats, but sometimes he likes to get after them and chase them. And if you don't want to have to deal with that, and if you don't want to have to put your cat through that, let's look at Hank, because he might be a better fit.
So back to where you were going with that earlier, so let's say you're in the middle of this phone call and you're just not feeling it for whatever reason. Either it's not a good fit, you don't like the tone of this lady's voice, they answered something wrong, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You are in charge. You are the foster parent here.
Yeah.
It is your responsibility to make that call. And if you're not feeling it, you just need to handle it.
Yep.
And there are a multitude of ways to handle it. Say,
here's my concerns about your house with this dog. Da, 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 da.
Exactly. Here's my concern with Roy. Roy came from XYZ, and he really is just not a fan of men. And I feel like that's going to be an issue with your husband or your children or your son or whatever.
Yeah.
Or another tactic is to redirect. So, I'm not really sure that Roy is the best fit for your family, but have you looked at our website? We also have whoever's on there. And I always have the Oh My Dog Rescue available dogs up on my phone or my laptop when I'm calling people. So I know who else we have, because there might be another better fit for them. Even if they are a good applicant, there might be a better fit for them.
And we're
trying to place the best place for the dog.
Yes. Holly and I know closer, like what dog likes what. And I try to keep things really high level with the dogs on our website. I don't put a ton of details about their
Right.
needs unless it's really specific, because I want our fosters to be able to have the opportunity to have these conversations with people who might be interested. However, if you find someone that you actually really do like, but just not for your foster dog, but you don't know who would be a good fit, this is when you respond back to Courtney and say, hey, I
Yes.
had a great conversation with Mary. She was wonderful. She wants a couch potato dog. Can you talk to Holly and Kara or other
Do we
fosters?
have a
Do we
couch
have
potato
anybody
dog?
like that?
Yes.
And then what Courtney will do, she'll take your application, repackage it back up, and send it over to, Charlie's foster, because
Right.
Charlie likes to sit on the couch.
Exactly.
So,
It's all about getting the right dog in the right home, whether it's your dog or not.
and not everybody who applies is going to get a dog.
That's right.
Not everybody who applies is going to get your dog. And that's okay. Not everybody who applies is owed a meet and greet or your time.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Just because they have applied, just because you have talked to them on the phone or exchanged text messages, does not entitle them to a meet and greet.
Because
I'm going to say that again. Does not entitle them to a meet and greet.
No.
It's going to put you, if you're feeling off about it and you still follow through with a meet and greet, it's going to put you in a very uncomfortable situation where you basically have to tell this person, I'm not feeling it.
If you do feel like you are unsure and you do want to move forward with a meet and greet, you need to preface the scheduling of this meet and greet with that.
I always say that.
Hey, if you and I both feel like this is a good fit, it is possible that the dog could go home with you today. Or you could say, I have another interested party. I want the dog to meet both of you first, and then I will make my decision based on how Roy reacts to both families, and I will let everybody know. Thank you so much for your time. Would you like to set this up?
Right.
Preface
That's
it with
not
that.
setting up multiple meet and greets
At once. It's just
that's being
setting
very transparent
Yes,
with
it's setting
all
expectations.
applicants.
Yes. So,
yeah. I am always abundantly clear on the phone with applicants if I go forward with meet and greet. I say, now listen to me. I want you to come and meet Roy, and if everything goes well and we're all copacetic and everything is good and you're happy and I'm happy and he's happy, we'll move forward. But this does not mean that you are adopting this dog. And I say that specifically.
yeah.
So they know coming in, like, we're dating.
Yeah. And, sometimes I just know that it's going to be a good fit.
Yeah,
and
of course
that's from
you do,
years
yeah.
of time, and
Yeah.
so don't feel like you have to force someone to be prepared to take home a dog that day. If they are ready to take home the dog that day and everybody loves it and it's all great, good. But if not, you need to, in your mind as the foster, plan on, I'm going to have this meet and greet. And then in one day later, we will reconnect. And if they are in and I'm in, then we will set up the adoption pickup date the next day, if you need that time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I've had enough conversations with the people and I understand about their, the experience with them, that I know I'm going to allow that adoption to happen that day. Sometimes you'll do the meet and greet at your home. Sometimes you'll do the meet and greet at the adopter's home. Sometimes you'll pick a neutral location, depending on the dog.
Yeah.
A lot of times for me, I do it at my home because it's convenient for me. But I had a dog that specifically I knew was going to be shut down because he was really protective of me and my family if I had them come to my house. So I went to their house. And when I saw that dog relax and his... I was like, okay, this is cool. And I
Right.
looked at them and I said, hey, you got a long road ahead of you. This particular dog needs some time to decompress. It's up to you if you want to try it out and do we don't do trials, but do the adoption. If you want to move forward and you are willing to put the time in to make this work, we can do the adoption from here. But I'm in their space and it's my opportunity to take the dog back with me
Right.
and leave. Like,
Right.
you'll know based on what dog you have, when or where you can do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And speaking to not an immediate adoption. If there is a reason that there is a time between the meet and greet and the adoption, or the application and the meet and greet,
Engage them.
keep them engaged. Continue to send them updates. Send them a picture. Pop them a picture in the morning saying, oh, Roy's really excited to meet you on Thursday.
Yep.
We can't wait to see you. We can't wait to meet you.
There's nothing worse than putting in the time and getting ghosted. And the best way is to keep them engaged.
And send them a video on Wednesday night saying, oh, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to go to bed. We can't wait to see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock at such and such, blah, 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 whatever. Just sending them updates and keeping them engaged is going to prevent you, like Kara said, from being ghosted.
Yes. So we know that not everyone is as good at being direct as we are. So if you are in a meet and greet situation, in a phone conversation, and you're just not feeling it and it's not going to happen, simply close with, thank you so much for your time. I will let you know what we decide. And if you need help letting this person down and you can't be the one, that is what we are here for. That's what Kara's here for. That's what Holly's here for. That's what Courtney's here for. We are here to help you with the messaging of saying no.
Yeah.
And it's
I have
okay
no
to
problem
say no.
calling somebody and saying, listen, I talked to so-and-so's foster.
Here's our concerns.
It was a great conversation. And this is another line I use. I really love your application. I don't love it for Roy, but I would love to keep your application on file. Would you mind if I reached out to you in the future with another dog?
Yeah. And I do also like
it's just a redirection.
It is a redirection. And in the truth of it, I do want to just point out that technically we're not matchmakers in that I'm going to keep watching for a dog for a specific person unless I really, really, really loved them. I always encourage people to reapply every time they see a specific dog that they want, because that is how our process works. We work with an application that is specifically sent for that dog.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember if 6 weeks from now.
But it's just
It's a good
it's a way to
redirection.
get it out of the conversation.
Yes, exactly.
Gently and
But
politely.
Yes. But in the real of it, just so you know, if anybody is not adopting a dog today but might be adopting a dog 6 months from now, they need to apply.
We would love for them to apply again.
Yeah.
I also have told people, like, hey, listen, I have your application on file. If you see another dog that you're interested in,
shoot us an email.
just let me know.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to pull your application from 6 months ago and forward it on. I mean, that's not ideal.
No.
It's a little more work for us, but it's not a huge deal. Like,
No.
we can pull up applications. We have all of them. So
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
if you've applied with us before, if you see another dog, just let me know and I'll get it to the right person.
Yes. And throughout all of this process, rely on the MUTT Mafia for their expertise. There are many people above and beyond Holly and Kara who understand what needs to happen and how to answer your questions if you're not sure what to do next. And just do what's best for the dog.
Yeah. I can't stress this enough. It's very I don't worry about it. I think about it a lot that we are, we've built this rescue and we've built this group of fosters, and all of us are responsible for making sure that these dogs land in a good, loving home that's right for them. So I want to make sure that the reason that we're doing this is because we want to make sure that everybody has the tools at their disposal to make those calls and have those hard conversations if needed. Because what I don't want to happen is
we don't want the pressure to get a dog
you
adopted
not be able to say
above.
no, and then the dog get adopted out into a home that it doesn't belong in.
Yep.
I don't want to be responsible for that as co-founder of Oh My Dog Rescue.
We're empowering you to place these dogs that you know best in the places where they should land because we know that works. But if you don't want to say no and you know you need to, we
will do it for you.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. We'll figure it out.
Okay. If you have any questions, call us anytime, day or night. You got our number.
Not midnight.
Message
though.
us.
On my birthday. Don't. Okay. Love you guys.
We're counting on you. All
right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
We'll figure it out.
Oh my dog.
What I mean when wanna see, what I see, what I feel, wanna dream, wanna be. I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Everybody look at me when I'm free, wanna feel, what I see, wanna do it. I'm a freak, what up? Oh, what up? Say what we got, it's hot to spot, give up the drop, see what we got, do what, do what. We got to go, the body flow, too hot to show, the front row, we won't stop.